Welcome to another exciting episode of Coffee and Bonsai with Tom. It's springtime, and anyone who's into bonsai realizes that is a time of high excitement and activity. And one of the things you definitely want to have your handle on in the springtime is lots of potting soil, lots of supplies to do repotting, and lots of pots. So today we're going to look at some of the pots that I've acquired in the last few months. I have a lot of pots. Unfortunately, a lot of them are really big, and I've kind of moved to working on smaller trees. And so I really needed to acquire some smaller pots. So I have a collection of pots from all sorts of different potters. Some I bought at the Puget Sound Bonsai Association, like fall and recent spring sale. Some of them on Etsy, some of them on Amazon, some of them on eBay. And so what I'd like to do today is I'll go through these pots and give you a quick spin and give you a little detail on them. And so, some would call this, my daughter, when she was a teen, used to call these like haul videos, right? She would go to Bed Bath & Beyond and they would buy, I don't know, hand sanitizers or something. And they would make videos of the stuff that they bought. So this is my pot haul video. Before I get started, I just want to mention one thing. Not to enable any of my fellow bonsai enthusiasts out there, but you really do need a lot of pots. Now, I don't know if the right ratio is 2 times pots the number of trees you have, or 3 times, or whatever number you're comfortable with, but you really can't have enough pots. And the reason for that is it's kind of like buying shoes. You might see a shoe you really like, it's the right size, it looks like a shoe you want, but until you stick your foot in there and take a few steps, you really have no idea if that's the shoe for you. And I've seen that many times with bonsai pots where I've even bought a pot with a specific tree in mind, and it's not until you get to the point where you're repotting the tree and you're actually putting it in the pot where you really see if it works or not. And so it's a good idea to have 2 or 3 options to play with there. So, in the worst case, even if it's not a great match, you feel good about it because it's the best out of the ones you identified. And, the tree's probably going to be in there for several years. So, you kind of want it, if you're going to go to the time to pot it up, you may as well have it look good. So without further ado, I will hit pause here and I will kind of rip through some of these pots I recently acquired. So first up, I have a mass-produced dragon pot. You can see the little dragon on there. It's not the best example of a dragon, but I've always wanted a dragon pot, and so far I've been too cheap to buy one. I mean, the good ones they can be many hundreds of dollars. You can see this one, I've used my golden repair technique. I will put links to another video. I've done that a few times with other pots. It's kind of really pops against this one, and this was quite a repair. This was a pot that arrived broken. I guess I have some shipping problems. I had to fix it. And they told me just to keep it. This is a Bunsen pot. I think I've mentioned before. I just love these pots. This is pink. I mean, look at that thing. Just beautiful. I'll put my hands in here so you can get a sense for how big it is. It's not tiny, but it's a nice sized pot. I think I'll have a lot of fun with it and get some good use out of it. This is another pot by a local maker. Brenda Good is her name, and she is here in the Pacific Northwest, and I saw this on the Facebook group 99 Cent Bonsai, which I highly recommend you check out. They not only sell pots but bonsai. And the thing I love about her pots, if you look at this, she signs it "Be Good," which is a very wholesome message for all of us. So her pots will remind you to be good. I call this pot Sunshine because I look at this and I just like the green and the orange flecks, and sometimes you see a pot and you're just sort of excited about it. I honestly don't know who makes this. That is their chop, and I'm quite sure I got it on Etsy. I will try to figure that out and put a link to it. Here's another Etsy pot, and I was drawn to this one because, as you can see, it has mountain scenes on it. And I live here in the Pacific Northwest. We have a lot of mountains, and so I really like this, and I kind of like the natural earth tone colors. It's a high quality pot. You can sort of tell it's kind of thin but strong. It's got a lot of wires, and again, this is an Etsy purchase, and I will put a link to their store. And this is an Iker pot. So he is an artist out of Ohio. I'll put a link to his stuff. And this one I kind of liked because it's got these green flecks in this kind of abstract, kind of mauve purple color. And I like the lip on the bottom, and then the little feet the lip on the top, the feet on the bottom, and I like these green flecks, which sort of remind me of leaves. And it's kind of a small pot, so I don't have a whole lot of those. Here is another small pot, also an Iker pot. I really like this one because I love it. It looks like frog skin or something, and it's pretty small. And I'm quite sure I can find something interesting to put in there. Here's another beautiful pot. I just love the color of this one. It's sort of a buttery yellow cream. Just very pretty. It's a local maker. I buy these at our PSBA meetings. Candied Clay is the name of the potter. They have a website, and I will provide links to that so you can check out their work. They have a lot of really cool stuff, and you can see their signature there. Here's another pot. I've lost track of where I got this one, but I sort of like the coloring. It's got a little bit of green on the bottom, you can see there, and it's just a beautiful pot, and it's got sort of like gold and green and some foliage on it. Really pretty. This is a bit of a larger candied clay pot. I really like the texture on this. You can really see that. And it's kind of a natural tone. I really like the feet and the fine detail with the lip. They really make some amazing pots. And yeah, you can see their chop right there. These pots are nice. You can hear, you can always tell a good quality pot by the way it sings. This pot I bought at a club sale, and it's funny because I talked to the young man that made it, and I couldn't find a chop on it. He gave me an incredible deal in this pot. I sort of like it. I don't have too many rectangular pots, and this one is just a nice, simple rectangular design. It's got like a nice rough texture to it, but you can see inside it's obviously handmade, but I could not find a chop. I also got this at the club sale. They have, any of the members can sell whatever they want there, and there's many of them are potters. So this one I really love, this green color. You can see it's it's kind of it's not a huge pot, but I think I can do a nice small forest there. But I really like the green, the texture, and the feet are really, really nice. It's a heavy duty pot, and I sort of like, this where it sort of has an abstract forest, and then the front right down to the foot there with this white stripe. But if you want to be less flashy, you can always use this beautiful green on this side. And this is the maker. I know he has a website, and I'll show you another one of his pots. I was really drawn to this table because I forever wanted a dragon pot, and you know, he had some there, but it wasn't anything I was quite interested in. But he also will, you know, make you one. But whew, they're expensive. But I'll tell you, seeing some of his work, he had not a profile, pictures of some of his work there in a book. It was astounding. So I think if I ever get a dragon pot, it will be from there. Here's another rectangular pot from the same maker. I originally, you know, I kind of like blue and I kind of like white, and I think I have a tree. It's actually a Portugal Afra, and it's kind of a nice broom style one, and I have a couple smaller ones which I think will work quite well in this pot. So I had an idea of what I wanted to do with this, and I think it's just a beautiful pot. It's a little different than what I would normally buy, but I kind of like its kind of organic nature. And my last pot is this large, it's a Japanese rectangle. I love forests, and I want to experiment with rectangles. Most of the time I sort of seem to go for ovals and round pots. So I'm expanding my horizons, and I really like this one. It's kind of like a good size, but not too big. And I really, you know, it's nice and thin, which I like, and I just love Japanese pots. So I'm looking forward to working with this one. And is there a chop on there? There is, but it's kind of worn. This was a used pot that I got. Just an amazing deal on eBay, actually. And I can't wait to try it out. And I had one more small pot that I forgot to show you. Yeah, I believe this is another candied clay pot. And I just kind of liked, you know, it's almost iridescent. It has sort of some blues and, you know, I don't know what I'll put in here. I think maybe a jade of some sort. But I just really, I kind of like the color of the pot. Well, I almost forgot. Of course, we have to do the grand finale. You didn't think that was everything, did you? So these are a couple of pots that I've found that I am absolutely in love with. These are Japanese pots. You know, they're pretty small. By Hattori. I don't know much about that potter, but boy, I mean, I just love the simple, beautiful style. It's got some patina on it. It's a beautiful yellow pot. And, you know, obviously it's got some soil in there, and there you can see the chop. And I'll take a look at the blue one. And I got these, you know, as a set, actually. And boy, you know, I like the patina. I just really like the pot. And I can't wait to put something on there. It looks like there was a sticker or something there, which I find interesting. But yeah, what a beautiful, beautiful set of pots. And let's see. Yeah, there's the chop there. But you can tell they're certainly got some age on them, and they have been used. But really pretty pots. Now, you really shouldn't put your pots like this, but I kind of like the look. So that's it for real this time. That's the grand finale, and best of luck. Good luck repotting, and the best to all of you in your spring bonsai activities. Well, that's it for my fall spring pots. And I want to thank you for spending time with me, and, you know, tune in for this season. And I'm sure we will be putting a good number of these to use and trying them out. And until I see you again, have a great week.